Now Hoiberg will launch the three. Now Hoiberg will launch the three. Oh, and he hits!
Left field, another double. This Clobber to left field, another double for Washington. This time it's Nick Kresnak.
But no doubt, two-run go-ahead homer in the seventh. The bat flip gets the exclamation mark on a comeback.
An RBI knock from Kresnak, who's having an incredible night.
Sam Hoiberg, the son of the coach, to steal the bucket.
Welcome in. Sports Section After Dark, first installment ever. We appreciate you for joining us. Nick Kresnak will hopefully be with us soon. There is a link that I have sent out for live call-ins. If you are looking for that, go ahead and text me directly. But very excited to have everybody. Go ahead and toss some stuff in the chat if you want to have some interactions. But what a card we had tonight. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. Islam Makhachev and new UFC welterweight champion of the world. An absolutely incredible performance from a guy that had question marks moving up to 170 pounds for the first time in his career. JDM looked hurt early. I think those low calf kicks really got to him in a hurry. And once Islam has you on the ground, I mean, there really is no defending it. A credit to the new champion of the welterweight division in the UFC. We'll get to everything and give you a full rundown of the entire card, college football, everything that went down in the sports world today. We very much appreciate everybody for joining us. Joey Chapman, opinions on Nick Kresnak being late. Thank you for joining. I don't know, man. We were texting throughout the card, so hopefully he's with us soon. We're very much looking forward to that. Opinions on the Islam win. I mean, it's dominance. What else can you say? This guy has basically never lost. He got randomly head kicked in his second UFC fight. He's now 28-1, a 2-division champion. And I mean, what else are you going to put in front of this guy? He's arguably the most dominant champion in the sport. And I would love to see him fight Ilia Topuria. I don't know. I mean, we saw some incredible wins at 170 pounds tonight. A big credit to Michael Morales as well as the rest of the card, and especially Carlos Pratas. He made the former champ Leon Edwards look like a child, to be frank. An incredible performance all around, especially in that 170-pound division. And looking at, the stats from this Islam fight, 19 minutes of control time, and he thoroughly outstruck Jack Della Maddalena as well. I think JDM had like one flurry combination in third round, and Islam was never hurt. Jack was hurt the entire fight, and it was ugly, to be frank. If you're a fan of JDM, which I think a lot of people are. So just a credit overall to the dominance of Islam. He's done it at 155 pounds for years upon years. And I don't know what you're going to throw at this guy. Sure, there's some young up and comers in this division, but you heard Islam post fight. He wants to fight at the White House. I want him to fight at the White House. I think everybody wants him to fight at the White House. Ilia Topuria will most likely defend his title in January on the first UFC Paramount card, or Paramount card rather. But I think that sets those two on a collision course for the end of June on the South Lawn of the White House, just prior to the 250th birthday of the United States of America. It's really something special if you think about it. And I don't really know what else there is in store for Jack Della Maddalena. There is a massive welterweight fight next weekend in Doha, Qatar, with Ian Machado Gary taking on the former champ Bilal Muhammad. But the winner of that fight, it's like you're kind of in a hodgepodge. You have Carlos Prates, you have Michael Morales, and Kamaru Usman was sitting octagon side tonight. So he is out there as well. And it's very interesting to think about what is the future in that completely stacked division. Love it, Ben. Benny giving some shouts. I love it. Attaboy. Go ahead and text me directly, anybody, if you would like the live call in link. Looking forward to hearing from some of our guys here tonight. Let me make sure that I know how to accept these live call-ins. If you've tried to join and it hasn't gone through, go ahead and text me just so I can try and figure that out on this end. But a big thanks to everyone that is here watching for the first installment of the sports section after dark. Let's get into the rest of this card a little bit before we go back to the main event. Lived up to expectations. No doubt this was a banger. The first 3 fights of the main card end in pretty devastating knockouts. Let's go to that first fight, Benoit Saint Denis. 16 seconds to take down a mainstay in that lightweight division with Beneil Dariush, an old guy who has sort of been at the pinnacle of that division for a long time now. And give me the beef stew? What does that mean? Do you want a Mounties minute? Don't know if you want the commentary right now. We're open for anything. This is after dark, man. Anything goes on the sports section. I love it. But BSD, first of all, a total badass. They highlighted on the pay-per-view his former French special forces background, which is outrageously cool. I thought it was awesome how he got on the mic and immediately thanked veterans after the fight. This is a killer. Like I'm not saying like a killer in the octagon. Like Benoit Saint Denis has killed humans before. He's a war veteran from France, but an incredible performance. And I think that, at least me personally, I kind of thought that he had gotten fraud checked a little bit after that loss to Dustin Poirier on Poirier's rise to the title, where he got dog walked by Islam in a similar way that we saw JDM get it tonight. But a credit to Benoit Saint Denis, who really showed up tonight. And just prior to that, the featured prelim, Bo Nickal's back. I'll tell you that. He, of course, did lose his last challenge, and I kind of attributed that to a fraud checking even. But Bo Nickal lost to a very good fighter in Renair de Ritter. His striking got exposed. His striking was back tonight. What a head kick for the knockout. Truly incredible stuff to see from, as Krez called it, Dana White's baby, which I think he is kind of back in the good graces of Dana and the UFC after that incredible performance this evening. Rodolfo Vieira is a really good competitor, and Bo dominated the first and the second and then flatlined him in the third. So, congratulations to Bo Nickal as well. Leon Edwards and Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates is one of the biggest problems I've ever seen in my entire life. He smokes a pack of cigarettes like every single day. I'm sure he's smoking one in his press conference right now. He wanted a face-off with the champion tonight, and I think on a normal night that might have been acceptable. But after the performance that Michael Morales had this evening, and with that fight next weekend with Ian Gary and Bilal Muhammad, Prates seems a little bit stuck. I don't necessarily know if he is next in line for a title shot. I thought that Sean Brady would be next in line had he won against Michael Morales. But Morales is ridiculous, man. That guy is massive. He is probably the biggest welterweight I think I've ever seen in my life. Get this guy on the live. Need to hear what Banan has to say. Joey Chapman, that's a great question. Thank you. Get John King up and moving out of the bullpen. Yeah. Did they really just get a pick six? That's heinous. Let's see. Let's switch over to the frogs on the iPad. Not that we really want to see that anyway. Where is this score? Let's see here. 37-13. That is no bueno. Play calling last 43-13, excuse me. Yeah, it's ugly in Provo. I mean, that's such a hard place to play, but seemed like Sonny didn't really have the guys ready. Hey, I'm with you, Danny Wolfel. I think we need to get somebody like James Franklin. I would take that. He interviewed at Virginia Tech this week, so it seems like that is sort of where he is trending. Jack Nyland, hello. What are you trying to say exactly? Did I miss something? Anyway, a really good day of college football, though. Congrats to Oklahoma. What a win for them going to Tuscaloosa. And that Alabama offense looked miserable today. I mean, Kalen DeBoer honestly kind of dialed things up in the right way, the way that he should have at least. But Ty Simpson just could not take care of the rock. But that Oklahoma secondary, holy smokes, are they good? Just outrageously successful. What coach would I like to see fill the vacancy at TCU? That's a great question, Danny. Thanks for asking. Well, I mean, we don't have a vacancy right now, but I mean, I would like to see a guy like John Gruden. I think that TCU has sort of been stuck in the past for a little bit. Gary Patterson was incredible, of course. Marcel Reed is not the Heisman, Danny. They were down by 30 today. Now, Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman last week with that outrageous game-winning drive against Penn State. They got gut checked, had a convincing win today against a poor Wisconsin team, but Wisconsin beat Washington last weekend, a ranked Washington team. So, I don't know. To answer your question, TCU opening, I would like to see John Gruden. I don't think that's very realistic. I think we see him in the SEC next year, Florida, Arkansas, something like that. But I don't know. There's just so many vacancies. It's like, I mean, TCU's not going to fire Sonny Dykes this year because who do you go get? Opinion on Cole Miller's thought process. I'm a big fan of Cole Miller's thought process. Palmer thinks Islam is a fraud. Okay. In what sense? He had 18 minutes of control time this evening. It was a dog walking, as I continue to say, but I mean, who's going to beat Islam? Genuinely. Not Kamaru Usman, I'll tell you that. And I just don't know if anyone can catch him on the feet. I think that his striking has really caught up to his grappling. He presents kind of a interesting dynamic with that southpaw stance as well. None of those Dagestani guys, I feel like, have shown next level striking from a southpaw position. McGregor will beat him. Connor's not. I want to see Connor at the White House, but he's not getting a shot at Islam. He is going to fight Michael Chandler if he comes back, and Michael Chandler's going to wait for him. And I don't know how excited really anyone is necessarily about that fight, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully we get to see Connor at the White House. Wouldn't that be fun? I couldn't be more excited for that White House card, though. I think it's going to be really special. So let's talk about the co-main for a second tonight. The Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko. I don't think that I'll put the hand up. I don't think that there have been a ton of I don't think there have been a ton of extremely exciting women's title fights. The vacant strawweight title fight wasn't great, but Zhang Wei Li, one of the greatest women's fighters of all time, completely dominated tonight by potentially the GOAT of women's MMA. I think there's a debate with her and Amanda Nunes for sure, but Valentina with a completely convincing 50-45. Zhang Wei Li didn't do anything that entire fight. Benny, we're not talking about Premier League here on the sports section. I'm sorry. I know you're a big fan of that, but oh, Joey Chapman was just asking me about Cole Miller's thought process. Cole Miller's in the chat now. Who is top of the league? Thanks for joining, Cole JC Miller. Big shout out. But yeah, Valentina Shevchenko, potentially now the GOAT of women's MMA. I mean, she's won, what is it now? I mean, 3 consecutive title fights now, but she's fought 11 consecutive title fights. And I feel like people forget that she fought Amanda Nunes 2 times and JC and almost beat her once. So the bullet, I don't know who's going to beat her. No one's going to beat her. So she's just going to be on top of UFC flyweight until she decides to hang it up or go up weight divisions. Give me, oh, you did not like the Bama thoughts. Mateo Macaroni, what's up, man? Asking for thoughts on Ethan Ewing. Dude, that guy is a complete savage. I mean, coming in on 48 hours notice against a killer like Malcolm Wellmaker, a guy that is a problem in that division, who was a massive favorite to get that knockout tonight. And I mean, Ethan Ewing did win the A1 title last weekend. So, but I mean, that's 7 days ago. It's so hard to take these fights. And sure, it's at a catch weight, but these are both 135 pounders that looked legit tonight. I think Ethan Ewing gets a ranked fight pretty soon. I mean, he said he has a baby on the way. So February, March, I think you give this guy somebody in the top 15. Thanks, Danny. But yeah, let's talk about our boy Sam Hoiberg for a second. What a win for the Huskers tonight. I mean, that offense is outrageous. They scored 103 points tonight. They had 4 starters in double figures, and it was our boy Sammy Hoibs getting those free throws down the stretch. I loved getting him to the line. I think that now that he has so much experience, I mean, 5 years of Big Ten Division I college basketball really translates. And 105 points, excuse me. Don't want to short the Huskers at all. Sure, they give up 99, but it's like they shot 60% from the field in the second half. Go Dogs, horns down. I'm with it, Benny, and I go to Texas. But our guy Rank Mast, who had the first official interview on the sports section, go ahead and go listen to that live, or not live, but available on the YouTube. Suck. Seahawks are not frauds, Danny. Seahawks are Super Bowl contenders, no doubt. I don't think they match up very well with the Rams, and Sean McVay can. This comment section's great. Sean McVay kind of dominates the Seahawks on all fronts. Can we get some call-ins, by the way? Text me for the link if you need it. Yes, Jack, I want John Gruden. Thanks for texting me. But back to the Huskers. Price Sanford had 10 of the first 12 for Nebraska, and Oklahoma went on a 10-0 run to start that game. This is really distracting reading the chat. Well, get me on the call. That's good content, Benny. I like that. The Jets are not making a comeback. Whoever said that. All right. Yeah, we'll go back to the Huskers. Price Sanford was outrageously good tonight. Goes for a career high 28 points, 10 of 18 from the field. And he played 36 minutes. I mean, Price, we all saw his brother Peyton at Purdue and how incredible of a career that he had. And I think that that really translates and goes into the Fred Hoiberg system. That offense is so special. I mean, he did it at the NBA level, and it really translates. Cole J.C. Miller would like to call in. How much can we trust Cole Miller on the live? Um, but our guy Rank Mast, who we had an interview with last week, I think there are now two college basketball players with triple doubles this season, Rank being the first. He had 26 again tonight, 5 of 7 from three, and he started that BYU exhibition 7 for 7. Thoughts on game day for tailgate next year? Um, I can't add people like directly from the Instagram. No, I don't think that TCU would beat Texas, but I also don't think that Texas is necessarily a good enough team to make it to the playoff right now. I also think that Nebraska is kind of having a revitalization of Jamarcus Lawrence after he transferred away last year and then comes back into this system. He fits in so well. And I think that our guy Sammy really is able to funnel it in. The offense runs through rank. It really does. I mean, I compare him to that European big sort of style that you see with a guy like Nikola Jokic, where he might not be the most mobile, but he's such a good shooter. He is so patient as well. If Mateo and I fought in the UFC, who's coming out on top? It's a good question, Benny. I don't know about that, man. Um, it's a really good question. Go ahead and I can't add me. Text me if you would like the link to join. Oh wait, let me check the text here. Sam Hoiberg open three is one of the best shots for the team. Yeah, I would agree with that. I also think that he takes such good shots. He's never gonna force stuff like that, but I do agree that it is a very good shot. Uh-oh. Sam Landers in the chat. I just got a picture of him on his way to WinStar. Hope you guys win big up there, Sammy. Good luck. Let's do a little college football. We'll get back to the UFC in just a little bit. The Frogs are getting smoked. I did give out the over in that game. I had the Dogs as well, Landers. Good shout. Frogs are getting smoked. I did give out the over. Moundsie's minute went 6 and 5. Comment section is great right now. Thomas Schaefer, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. I wish that Krez was here so that we could talk to you about it. Anyway, Hoover has not impressed me over the last few weeks. 2 picks tonight, had a really bad interception last week, but it also comes down to the play calling for TCU. This chat's great. It comes down to the play calling too. Kendall Briles, I think, has been poor in 33 run attempts tonight. Hoover has 10 of them. I think he's kind of been running for his life. But when you refuse to establish the run and you throw the ball 50 times a game, sure, only 23 pass attempts tonight, but it was like BYU jumped on the Frogs early. Gooch J. Phil, who's more athletic? Now that is a really, really good question. I've seen Gooch hoop, so I'll give it to Brad there. I think that he's got a little bit of low block potential. Benny, you've got some beef going on in the comments section, man. Yeah, Wentworth. I think that the Frogs are a poor football team, but I think that it comes down to coaching and leadership. That's love. One love, Gooch. I think it comes down to coaching and leadership. Sonny went to the national title with Gary Patterson's roster. Like, frankly, that is what happened. And sure, he did a great job with that team. He doesn't have Max Duggan anymore. He has Josh Hoover, who's supposed to be a really good quarterback. And against good teams this year, we've played 3 really good teams, in my opinion. Arizona State, now BYU, and I think that Iowa State is a good team. And the defense showed up last week at home. Rocco Becht was 9 for 24 against a Frogs defense that hasn't really done too much. Is Neem in the chat, Joey? The Frogs defense hasn't really done too much this season, but Rocco Becht looked miserable, and Iowa State still was able to come out on top. The TCU offense just refuses to not turn the ball over. It's so unfortunate to see, especially with a talent like Eric McAllister. This guy goes for 100 yards a game. He's like 5th in the nation in receiving yards per game. It's so impressive. Max Duggan's your buddy's buddy. Sweet. I have his phone number. Fun fact. Anyway, but let's move on from the Frogs. It's a sad day. Indiana looked the part today. Fernando Mendoza got a little bit banged up, but they're the number 2 team in the nation, and I'm really excited for the collision course that they're on with Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. And I saw a hypothetical line. If those two were to meet in Indianapolis right now, Ohio State would be a 6.5 point favorite, which seems a little high to me. I don't I don't necessarily think that Ohio State is that much better than Indiana, but I do think that, yeah, you have your Heisman conversation, and guys like Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sayin have the best odds. But is it really that hard to argue that 4 in red, Jeremiah Smith is not the best player in the country? He might not be the Heisman, but I don't think that doesn't mean that he is the best player in America right now. Sonny Dykes. So that's really good. But yeah, Jeremiah Smith is incredible. Cousin of Geno Smith, by the way, if you didn't know that. And Ohio State has a running back named Bo Jackson who went for $112 and a touchdown today. And my thing with Ohio State is I don't think that Julian Sayin necessarily has to be that good for this team to win a national title. Jeremiah Smith only had 40 yards today. Their defense, and sure, they're playing UCLA. Yeah. Terrible football team, whatever. But Matt Patricia has done an incredible job running that defense. And people aren't really talking about him being a head coach next year. Maybe he goes back to the NFL soon. Hey, we're not talking smack on the Nelson Cruz jersey in the back, all right? I'm a Seattle guy. That's my guy, Nelly. I could throw up a Raul Ibanez, Robinson Cano up there. I'm going to start rotating those jerseys soon, too. We got a couple more. I got a Bartolo Colon jersey. I also have the signed poster over here as well. Let's see. What else could I throw up there? We have some good merch. This helmet is signed by Sonny Dykes, by the way, so I might have to get rid of that at some point. Let's move on from Ohio State. They're going to be the number 1 team in the country and probably win that Big Ten title, but I hope that Indiana isn't punished for playing in the Big Ten title game, because how do you, in theory, the SEC champion, especially if it's Texas A&M, moves from 3 to 2 when the college football playoff rankings come out, which makes sense, but it's like, how do you really punish Indiana for making the Big Ten title game if they do lose to Ohio State? A beast goalie for his lacrosse team. Yes, Indiana is as legit as it gets. Speaking of legit, how legit is Texas A&M? Incredible comeback today. They were down 30-3. They score 28 unanswered. They win 31-3. But I just haven't been that impressed with Marcel Reed. And sure, he throws for 440 yards today, but had a couple turnovers early. I love KC Concepcion. I think that he might be the best receiver in America, up there with Jeremiah Smith at the very least, and especially one of the most dynamic return men in college football at present. Him and what's his name from Texas, their kick returner, who has been outrageously good. No, we're not talking about goaltending, Benny, or soccer at all. Yes, Texas A&M is very legit. I have question marks about their defense. Their defense has shown up once on the road this season at all, and that was last week against Missouri, who is good. Good, though, not great. And A&M gets their SEC Cupcake game next week with Samford at home, but they got to come to Austin the week after that. And Texas got kind of embarrassed by Georgia today, but Texas beat Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago, and they're going to be ready for Texas A&M. I think that Texas is kind of out of the playoff conversation at the moment. This comment section is really good. Um, do we have? Has anyone requested to join the live? Not through Instagram, but through the link that I sent out. Text me if you have, and if I haven't let you in, because this is the first time that we're doing it, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to get a notification on that or what that necessarily will look like. But A&M is an interesting team to me. I just don't know if their defense can win them a national title. And Lenore Sellers didn't play that great today. He did enough to keep them in it in the first half, but A&M kind of gave it to him. Gave them the ball, that is, at least in the first half. And I have a ton of respect for Tim Elko. I think that he is one of the best coaches in America and potentially could be the national coach of the year this year. Georgia, the Dogs, they are on a march to the SEC title game, which could potentially lead to a collision course with Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma needs a little bit of help, but I mean, I would love to see Georgia and Texas A&M in that SEC title game. I think that would be really exciting and fun. Notre Dame took care of business today. Notre Dame is a really, really good football team. Benny, I know you're going to love the Irish talk. We can fire up on the Irish. Jeremiah Love is the best running back in America. Flat out. He simply put is the best runner on the planet at the college football level. He goes for 23 and $147, a touchdown today. Broke a couple off for big yardage. Also had multiple catches. And CJ Carr threw 2 interceptions today. And Notre Dame put up 37 points on a top 25 team in Pitt that is a good team in the ACC, but the ACC is a nightmare right now. I mean, I gave out NC State. I really thought that NC State was going to keep it tight with Miami today, but there's an argument to be had that the ACC champion does not get into the playoff. It doesn't guarantee you a right to make the playoff. You have to be a top 5 conference champion. And yeah, I guess Duke did lose today, so the ACC champion will probably get in. But that conference sucks, man. Whoever wins that conference and hosts a playoff game, they're in trouble. Big time trouble. Because Georgia's going to host the group of 5. That's going to be a cupcake unless Georgia ends up getting a bye, which they would if they won the SEC, which they might after the way that Texas A&M looked today. This is a great comment section. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hey, check out the merch shop through the link in our bio. Scroll to the bottom. You can shop the merch collection. We've gotten a couple orders. Shout out to Jake Neiman. He was our first order. That's our guy out there. I was talking to him for a while today. Let's see. Oh, Jake Neiman just sent me a text. Oh, he just got his shirt. Let's go. That's awesome. Neem, that looks great, man. That looks really good, actually. That came out great. Thanks for sending me that, Neem. I appreciate you. Do I have 10XL merch? No. Do you wear Do you wear a 10XL? No, I don't. Back to Miami. They ran through NC State today, and sure, them and Notre Dame have 2 losses, and they beat Notre Dame. Who cares? Can we get over that? Notre Dame's a better football team than them. Notre Dame started the season 0-2. They're doing the same thing that they did last year. They're going to host a playoff game in South Bend. It's going to be electric, and they're going to win it. Marcus Freeman, people need to stop forgetting about Marcus Freeman. He's a top 2, 3 coach in America, him and Kurt Signetti, Tim Elko. Special things are going on in Lubbock as well, but you should buy some merch. Check it out in the link in bio. USC with a sluggish win against Iowa today. There's a shot that USC backdoors their way into the playoff. A lot of things need to go their way, I don't think they will, but that is a situation that exists. Michigan today. God, they got lucky. They turned it over 5 times at Wrigley Field. The wind was swirling. Yeah, it was cold and miserable, and that's a really tough place to play. But Bryce Underwood looked horrible today. Had 2 really bad picks, no touchdowns. Win Goodman, do I think Vandy still has a chance to make the playoff? That is a really good question. So let's pull up their schedule here for a second. They had a bye week this week. They got it done last week in overtime against a bad Auburn team that does not have a head coach. I'm very interested to see who gets that job. Yes, I do think that Vanderbilt can make the playoff. They have 2 losses, 2 really good losses. They lost at Alabama and they lost at Texas. That Texas loss looks a little bit worse now because they got smoked by Georgia today. But if Vandy wins out and beats Kentucky and Tennessee, they're not going to get into the SEC championship, but they make a case to be the 3rd SEC team in the playoff. A&M's going to be in. Georgia's going to be in, or rather the 4th, excuse me. Alabama will most likely be in. There's going to be 4 SEC teams, I think, in the playoff, and I think that it comes down to them and Oklahoma. I guess Alabama's not going to be in necessarily. They have to win. They lost today, a bad loss. Well, not a bad loss. I mean, Oklahoma is going to be a top 6 team, 5 team. They're tremendous. How about the TCU Michigan game last night? Yeah, that was a really good game. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for the reminder. Ole Miss will get in. So, God, there's so many SEC teams, and they're all, well, we don't know if Ole Miss is going to get in, right? The SEC is weird because A&M and Georgia in the SEC title game, they'll both be in. And then you would assume if Alabama wins out, they'll be in. Then it's like, who else gets in? You got Oklahoma, you got Ole Miss, and you have Vanderbilt. At least one of those teams is getting in, and potentially 2. The group of 5 is so weak this season that it's honestly a little bit unfortunate that there does have to be a group of 5 team. There's no shame on the G5 guys. It could end up being a school like James Madison or North Texas, but whoever is that group of 5 team is going to go to the 2nd place team in the SEC, maybe the 3rd place team in the SEC, and get rolled. You know, it's not going to be a competitive game. It's pretty much a bye week for whatever team gets to host the group of 5. And then what? Do you put the ACC champion at 11? Where do you put Texas Tech? If they win the Big 12, are they at 7? And then they get to host a game in Lubbock, 6 or what, 5 to 7 in that range. If Alabama wins against Auburn and loses in the SEC champion, are they in? Yes. Yes. Because you can't punish them for making it to the SEC title game. You can't punish them for making it to a game that other SEC teams didn't even make it to. Just copped a giant t-shirt. Let's go. Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. Send me the code to join. All right, Danny Wolfel, let's get you in. I'll send you the code. Just sent it to you. Oh, Dan Marino in the chat. Dan, I think that we might need to have you on the show at some point, especially so that I can broadcast all caps Dan Marino interview. Because I think that would do views. Just so everyone knows, by the way, Dan Marino lives with Patrick Kane. How ridiculous is that? Anyway, let's see. Yeah, go ahead and text me for the link if anyone wants to join. Would love to hear everybody's thoughts. But yeah, this college football playoff is awesome. And I was honestly against the 12-team format to begin with, especially after kind of what it meant for TCU when they got in the 4-team format. Thank you for buying shirts. I will remember my day ones. Very much appreciate you guys for being on the sports section after dark. This is a fun time. Let's see. Danny, did you request to join? I don't see anything. Anyway, but yeah, I do really like this 12-team format now, and it's exciting. Those first-round games. This chat is great. Those first-round games on college campuses are so fun, and I really hope that TCU gets to host one at some point. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to the UFC. What a fight card tonight. And we didn't really talk about Michael Morales. He was a plus 135 dog. And I give a lot of credit to Sean Brady because he did not have to really take this fight. He was kind of next in line for a title shot and got a little bit unlucky that Islam decided to move up and challenge JDM for that belt, because if Islam didn't move up, I think tonight would have been Sean Brady against Jack Della Maddalena. And I'm thankful that Islam Makhachev did end up moving up because we got to see how incredible he is at that bigger weight class. He looks so much more comfortable and he looks massive. And JDM is a huge welterweight too. But my goodness, did Islam look huge tonight. All right, we're letting Danny Wolfel in. Here we go. Uh-oh, there we go.
All right.
Benny Corey, what's going on, brother?
I'm hearing a little bit of echo, but I'm excited to be on the Sports Section podcast. It's I believe the first ever guest.
Not the first ever, but first live.
First live. Yeah. Very nice. So I'm excited to be on here. I wanted to start off by talking about Sean's statement in the chat. We went checked out his profile, and he's a big lacrosse player. Do you follow lacrosse at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. Not allowed to say there then. Arizona Cardinals. What do you think?
I think the echo is really bad.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. It won't let me turn on my echo cancellation. That's not good.
Can they see my face?
Yeah, they should be able to, I think.
Whoa. Nice.
Is there still an echo, guys? Let me know in the chat. Anyway, what were you saying?
Are you at all worried about the lack of receiver depth behind JSN? For Darnold heading into the latter half of the season?
I'm honestly not too worried about the receiver depth because I think JSN is the best receiver in the NFL, and at least right now. And Cooper Kupp hasn't really been what I think people thought he would be, but getting Rashid, I can't say
Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, whatever. Getting him at the deadline, I think, opens things up a lot. He's going to be able to stretch the field and sort of take some attention off of JSN, but My thing with the Seahawks is that Sam Darnold doesn't need to be that good for the Seahawks to win. And
Right.
because the defense is incredible. So
Well, we saw it last week against the Arizona Cardinals. They came in and what 14 defensive points in the first quarter. Took the lead up 38 points in the first half. What more could you ask for in that team?
Oh, they're saying yes, Echo. All right. Sorry, Benny. I'm going to have to kick you because of the echo.
Alrighty. Well, anyway, thank you so much.
How do I? All right. Sorry about the echo there, guys. It's not a phone away from mic thing. It's that it won't let me turn on my echo cancellation through our streaming platform, which is no good. But anyway, sorry, hold on. Anyway, to follow up on that question, I'm not really worried about the Seahawks' lack of depth at the receiver position. I think that Darnold is able to get it to JSN so well, and Clint Kubiak's play calling has been incredible this season. Unfortunately, I think that he is probably going to be an NFL head coach next year. Nate Jones, thank you. That is a great question. Shoot him a text. If you are a QB needy team, you have the first overall pick. Fernando Mendoza, but like this quarterback class isn't that deep. I don't really think that he is an NFL superstar potential really at all. I think that Ty Simpson might have the ability to be like a game manager in the NFL. I hesitate to compare him to Drake May because of how good Drake May has been this season. You want to play golf with Sam Hoiberg? I glaze Fernando Mendoza. He's going to win the Heisman. I mean, I don't think he's that good. I don't think there's that many great quarterbacks in college football this season, but he's been the best that I've seen. You guys want to play golf with Sam? Yeah, I mean, I can ask him. See what his price is. Maybe get like donate to the pod. Maybe I don't know. Buy all of the merch. Charlie Gunther, what's up, man? Yeah, buy all the merch, I guess. But anyway, to go back to the Seahawks, I think we're going to lose to the Rams tomorrow. But I don't think that dismisses the Hawks from being a Super Bowl caliber team. That might be enough. I'll ask Sam. We're recording tomorrow night, which will come out on Tuesday. Drake May over Justin Herbert. Absolutely. I'm not a Justin Herbert believer. I'm also an Oregon hater, so that probably has something to do with it. But Drake May is the MVP favorite right now. I think, and hey, I'm done with the MVP being a quarterback award, by the way. Jonathan Taylor's the best player in the NFL right now. Dude has a million touchdowns. It's completely outrageous. He's been the best player in the NFL. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba, in my opinion, have been the two best players in football outside of the quarterback position. And yeah, you have Drake May as well, but I don't know. I don't know how you take an award like that away from Jonathan Taylor. He's just been so good this season. The best QB class with Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance. How are those guys doing right now? That was not a good quarterback class. Zach Wilson and Trey Lance are bums. No offense. Anyway, back to the incredible UFC card that we had tonight. I'm very interested to see what is next for Islam, because I don't necessarily know what you do with him if you're Dana White, because you have Ilya Taporia sitting at 155 pounds, who has said that he would like to be the first 3 division champion in UFC history. And I think that we're going to see him fight in January and at the end of June at the White House. And if you're Dana White, how do you not put the best 2 fighters on the roster against each other at the White House? It's Ilya and it's Islam. Marab's up there, but those are the best 2 fighters in the world, pound for pound, right now. And so I think that's the fight to make, is Ilya and Islam. But I don't know if the timing necessarily works out. I guess Islam will be, of course, he won't be able to fight around that March area because of Ramadan. So April, May, June seems like a good time to do Ilya and Islam at the White House. But that also kind of backs up the 170-pound division. How long till I can go? Usually takes a week. Danny Wolfel, thank you for tuning in. It should be every Saturday. I think that we will definitely start doing stuff like this and maybe more often. But yeah, I agree. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, Danny. Yeah, I think that this is fun. Merch takes about a week to answer questions out there. So I don't know what you do next with Islam Makhachev. It kind of stalls up the welterweight division if you make him wait 6 months. Then what? You see Carlos Pratas have to fight Michael Morales. I would love to see that. I think that's a banger. But then what do you do with the winner of Bilal and Ian Gary next weekend? It's just a cluster at the top of that division. Going to the Penn State game. Okay. Every single Saturday we will be here. All right. I love that. I love that you guys will be here every Saturday. Hopefully, Krez will be with us. Maybe if the Huskers don't have a game, we can get Sam to join for a little live. But viewers are starting to dwindle. We didn't necessarily get the call-ins that we were anticipating, but this was a great time. I think that this went really well. We've been going for, almost an hour here. What a great UFC card we had tonight, and a great day of college football. Really good day of NFL tomorrow. I think probably the best slate, really, that we have seen all season. Let's talk a little about that NFL slate tomorrow before we sign off. Best game in the early slate, Bucks Bills, man, in Buffalo. The Bills are 6-point favorites against Baker, who has kind of been on an absolute tear. He's second in MVP odds right now, I think. But it is in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. I like the Bills here just because Baker plays in Florida. It's like 80 degrees in Tampa every game that they play. So I like the Bucks. I like Josh Allen. Maybe he can do things for my fantasy team this week. You guys all seem to love those clips on my fantasy team and how ridiculous of a season I'm having. I'm 4th in my league in points. Anyway, that's a really good game in the morning slate. We got to bear through another international game. This is the last one of the season in Madrid. Dolphins, Commanders. Both of those teams are in Poop Town, as Scott Van Pelt would say. So that game sucks. I won't be up for that. Packers go to the Giants. Jackson Dart is out, but it's Jameis time in New York. The New York Football Giants are gonna get exciting with famous Jameis, but the afternoon is loaded. Broncos, Chiefs, Seahawks, Rams, and then Lions going to Philly on Sunday night. I really like the underdog Lions. They're getting 2.5 on Sunday night. If I wasn't biased towards the Seahawks, I would probably take the Rams tomorrow. Seahawks just don't really beat the Rams all that often. And the Chiefs coming off of a bye. Yeah, they're at Mile High. Doesn't matter. Mahomes, the boys, they need to win that or they're going to be 5-5. They're already going to have to go on the road for the first round of the playoffs. So take the Chiefs tomorrow. But yeah, really good slate. Excited for it. This is the sports section after dark. I'm Matthew Mousy. Thanks for tuning in. Maybe we'll do it next Saturday. This has been a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll get Nick Kresnak to join at some point. That's going to do it. It's been a fun hour being with you guys. Have a great night.